Welcome to Excise and Licenses online training videos. This video will show you how to submit an entity amendment application to update the ownership structure for a marijuana business license. There are a couple of steps that you'll need to take before you apply online. You'll want to go to a marijuana licenses website to see all required documents for an entity amendment. You'll want to make sure that you have your documents filled out and uploaded on your computer, and please make sure that they are a PDF or JPEG format. We are not able to open up any other type of document. And then you'll also want to have your username, your email, and password for your Denver online permitting and licensing center. And then you'll also want to make sure that you have a credit card or a debit card ready. You may also process a payment from a bank account. You would need the routing number, account holder name, and account type. Okay, so we are here at Denver's Permitting and Licensing Center, and you'll want to enter in the email and password for the account that you are going to submit your amendment for. So you'll enter in that information and click on login. And then here you are going to go down and you are here where it says business, short-term rental, and occupational licensing. You are going to click on renew or manage. And all of the licenses that you are going to have the entity amendment update for, where you're updating the organization, the ownership structure, you want to make sure that all of those licenses have been transitioned online. And so for this example, we are going to update the entity amendment for this application right here, and that entity has these three licenses attached to it. So for a entity amendment where you're updating the ownership structure, you are going to find that entity registration, and then over here on the right, you're going to click on amendment. And then here, you are going to select this first amendment. It's update current ownership structure, entity name type, or general business contact information. So click on that circle and then click on continue application. And then here, it's just telling you the things that you can do within this amendment. And for today's example, we are going to update the ownership information for an existing entity. This is not a transfer of ownership to a new entity. You are only going to be updating the ownership structure of the current entity. That's whether you're adding a new person, removing a person, changing their percentages, but that's what we are going to do when we update the ownership structure. So you'll read all of this information, and it tells you the required documents for each amendment that you're going to do. And then we'll click on continue application. And then here it's asking you, what type of amendment are you going to do today? And as I said before, there's three types of things that you can do for an entity amendment update. And you can update the entity's true name and or organization type. That's like an LLC, an Inc., or something, but it does not mean that if the entity name change results in a new EIN or employer identification number, then you do not do an entity amendment. That would be a transfer of ownership. So for this example today, again, we are only going to be doing the ownership information for an existing entity. We're going to be updating that. So the first the first line is going to be no, and then we're going to click on yes for the second question, and then we're going to say no for the third question. For this video today, we are only updating the ownership structure. And so again, you'll make sure it says yes, and then you'll click on continue application. If you're updating all three, you could say yes to all three and continue application. But again, today, for this video, we're just saying yes to the second question, and then click on continue application. And then here it's showing you what you've input before for the ownership structure for this entity. And what we see here is that the first name and the second name and the address and the position within the company, phone number, email, and then the percentage owned, and then their the MED license number, and then whether they're social equity, etc. And for this example today, we are going to say that we are going to update both owners, and we're updating the percentage owned. And so you select both owners, and then you click on Edit Selected. And for this example, we're going to just say that the holding company, we're going to change to 90%. And then for the person, they are going to be 10% now instead of 20. And so you make the ownership structure change, the percentage change, and then you click on submit. And you could also, if you wanted to add another person, and you'd update the two percentages for these and then add another person, you would just add a row and then add in all of that information. But for today's example, we were just updating the percentage owned, and then we are going to click on continue application. And then here it's asking, did any of the ownership, are they applying now as a social equity applicant? And for this example, we're going to say no. But if we did say that they were applying as a social equity applicant, we would have to attach extra documentation. But again, for this example, we're going to say no, and we're going to click on continue application. And then here, because we were making adjustments to the ownership structure, they want us to attach the organization documents for the entity, and then the valid identification for the person that is part of that holding company, and then a copy of the asset purchase agreement for this transaction. And so again, you'll want to have those documents saved on your desktop in a PDF or JPEG format. Now, if you don't have these documents, don't let the application time out, because it will mess up your application. If you don't have the documents, click on Save and Resume within 30 days, then log out of your account, and then come back at a later time, log in, and resume your application. Don't let this just time out on you, because, like I said, it will mess up your account. So for this example, we have all of the documents. So we're going to click on our documents, and we're going to find that document on our desktop, and it's the organizational documents, and we're going to upload that. And then we're going to find the valid ID for the person, and we're going to upload that. And then the purchase agreement for this ownership structure change, we are going to add that purchase agreement. And so we have all of the documents uploaded. And I said organizational documents or a purchase agreement, but it could be like a merger agreement, a sales contract, or any other document that effectuates the change of owner. So we have everything uploaded, and we're going to continue application. And then here is our last chance to review all of the changes that we are going to submit. So it's going to ask you, are you really just going to update the ownership? And I had answered yes. But if I say, oh, I need to update the contact info, you can edit and go back and add that. And then also make sure that now the ownership structure is correct for your entity right now. And so you want to audit all of that information and make sure it is all correct. And then we answered no as a social equity applicant. And then here are the required documents. And then you'll again want to make sure you read this oath of application carefully. And then check that box, and then click on continue application. And then now you will want to make sure that you go back to your business licenses, and then you are going to want to look on your records. You need to look for the pay fees due, because your application is not submitted until you pay your fees due. So again, you're going to click on pay fees due, and then this tells you the fee that you're going to pay for that ownership update. And because I have 3 licenses attached to this entity, and it's $250 per ownership update per license, then the total fee is $750. And then you are going to click on continue application, and this will take you to a third party payment. And then again, it just tells you how much you're going to pay for this application, and you'll click on checkout now. And then here, for today's example, we're going to use a credit card for the payment. And to pay with a credit card, you can use a Discover, MasterCard, or Visa. For our example, we're going to use a Visa. And then you enter in the credit card number, the expiration date, and then the zip code that is for the billing address of that credit card. And then you're going to click on complete transaction. Okay, so now your application has been submitted. This page is your receipt page. You will need to make sure that you print a copy of this page for your records. We do not email or mail a copy of this receipt, so you do need to make sure that you print a copy of this for your records. And then now your application has been submitted to Excise and Licenses. And again, it could take 7 to 10 business days before the initial review of the application. It can take up to 20 days for this to be looked at. So please watch your email for any communication. If we need any kind of updated documents or anything from you, we will submit application deficiency emails to you, letting you know that you'll need to log back in and upload new documents or provide more information. So please look in your emails for any communication from us, and it will come from EXL notifications. So make sure that you look there. And so now your application has been submitted. And again, just wait for any communication from us. All right, that concludes this training video. I'd like to thank you for watching this Denver Excise and Licenses video, and I hope that you have a great day. Thank you.